Ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. I am Sefian FM. Today we are taking a look at a tactic we've already taken a look at. It is the Pep Guardiola Total Football Era tactic. Now, what we're going to do, and this one and one more we're going to do for FM23, and then I'm going to stop until FM24 comes out, which should be next week. If it doesn't come out next week, then I'll probably continue to do some of these just to get some stuff on the channel and some content out to you guys. But basically what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to do a Manchester City only save, and then I'm going to do a Klopp Liverpool only save next time around. And then hopefully FM24 will be here just before you know it. And we'll start getting into FM24 content. But right now, this is the Pep Guardiola Total Football Era. It is supposed to be a Pep Guardiola tactic infused with some Johan Cruyff. Now, unfortunately, I just took a look at the tactical download on the Steam Workshop, and it's no longer there. So I'm going to have to find it and see if I can find it, and I'll link it to you if I can. But otherwise, basically what I wanted to do is usually we'll take Newcastle, Wolves, and Tottenham and see how they've done. But in this case, I'm doing only Man City, and in the next case, I'm only doing Liverpool on one of the tactics, the better tactics that we've done with them. Now, the reason I chose this one is because it is one of the better tactics that we've had with, a Manchester City or Pep Guardiola based tactic. So I wanted to see how Manchester City would do with it, and this is it. I'm not going to go through the tactic itself. I will link the original video in below. You can take a look, but this is the basic shape. You've got some in possession stuff, approach, play, pass in space, and all that. In transition, and then out of possession. Pause where you want to see it if you want to take a closer look. But again, link in the description of where I go over the tactic a little bit more in depth. But it is a balanced mentality. How did Manchester City, though, do? As you can see, second. So not as well as I had hoped. Usually on these types of things where I take a team and a tactic the team is based on, especially with a Man City, the Man City will come out on top. But Liverpool, losing only 3 matches, getting 101 points, is tough to beat. Man City with 7 losses, 3 draws, 28 wins, still 87 points, not too bad. Definitely not what they're used to these days. Now, the other thing I am doing is I'm going to do 2 seasons just to see. Unfortunately, there are no transfers, so we're not going to have any transfers, so it does cut down the second season a little bit. But as you could see, they went through a fantastic run. I mean, 7 losses still. Champions League, to Marseille they lost. Wow, that's interesting. But they're doing really well in all competitions right now. You continue on FA Cup. Carabao Cup final, you lose to Liverpool 3-4 in extras. FA Cup, I did not see them in the final, so there they are. Semi-final, 0-0 penalty loss against Brentford. That is interesting. And then a 0-2 loss in the Champions League quarters against Real Madrid, away from home, and a 1-0 win at home. So unfortunately, you're out in all competitions, and you come in second. Squad-wise, this is how they look. Ederson completely on top, as you can see. But Erling Haaland with 45 goals, 25 for Julian Alvarez, Kevin De Bruyne with 18. So definitely spreading it out amongst a bunch of different players. Assist-wise, 19 for De Bruyne. Mahrez with 17. Average rating all over the place. 7.69 for Haaland. I mean, how can you beat that? Kevin De Bruyne with only a 7.19. For some reason, I'd expect a little bit more. But still, fantastic players. No question about it. And there was never a question about whether these guys were any good or not. Data Hub, as you can see, very good attacking. That is the strong attacking side. Very good defensively, too. You got some strong defensive numbers. But again, you wouldn't expect much differently. Tackling percentage, passing percentage, shot percentage, or 1 ratio, I should say, percentage. Not doing all that well, but everything else really in the green. I mean, doing really well. Stats-wise, this is where I expect them to shine. Most goals, 99 to Liverpool's 98. That is amazing. A few shots against there, too. Most possession. It's not a possession-based tactic or a dribbling-based tactic, apparently. You got some goalkeepers in there. Tackling one. They didn't need much defensive work, even though it was pretty good. Wow, and best pass completion, not even there. Most shots for 758. That's insane. So, and if we look at the player overview, you can see Haaland with 34. Clearly, most assists, though, Mahrez with 11, way down there. I guess De Bruyne was more in the Champions League or some of the cups. Most player of the matches, Haaland with 13, of course. And with none of the actual Premier League stats, you're not going to get a lot of these. Ederson up there, but key pass and nothing. Shots, there you go. Haaland with 162 as expected. So clearly, the first season, it didn't work nearly as well as I'd hoped it would, but let's see what happens in the second season. Well, clearly it didn't work here either. Unfortunately, I'm assuming because there's no transfers whatsoever, you can see a lot of players are trying to leave. Nothing coming in. No one really going out either. Loans is pretty much all I've asked for. But on the league table, fourth place is definitely nowhere near good enough. 73 points, 9 losses, not too far off from last time, but 22 wins, 83 goals for, 44 against. So definitely not near where they should be. But unfortunately, that's what happens in these saves, especially when you don't have the transfers there. Schedule wise, I mean, the first half of the season is definitely fantastic. Only one loss, 2 losses there through that first half of the season, including Champions League, including the Cups and Prem. So you have up until the second half of the season with really not a scrape. However, you do get to the Carabao Cup final. You do win 2-1 against Arsenal, so you finally have a cup. Granted, it's the Carabao Cup. No one really cares about it anyway. It's more the Youth League Cup, but you still get a cup. And unfortunately, Champions League round of 16, you are out against Leipzig, 0-1 away from home, and then 1-1 draw at home, so not great there. FA Cup semifinals, you're out against Liverpool yet again, 2-4 in extras. Overall, I mean, normally a fantastic season for almost any other club, but this time around just didn't work. So season 2 stats for the players. Again, Ederson doing a fantastic job. 35 goals this time around for Haaland. Alvarez with 22. 20 for Grealish, finally getting up there. Assist-wise, 20 for Sergio Gomez. De Bruyne was 17. 15 for Bernardo Silva. So a couple of different rounds this time. 756 for Haaland. I mean, and there you go. 721. Kevin De Bruyne finally picking up a little. I mean, what was that? 3.03 up. So overall, I mean, still a fantastic set of players, fantastic job by these players. It's too bad that they just came in fourth. Data Hub, as you can see, I mean, I'm not really going to go over this, but pretty much similar, just kind of shrunk down a little bit, unfortunately. I know with transfers, they definitely would have had a fantastic job with this. And as you can see, again, nobody in. You do have some players going out on loan and things like that. But overall, it didn't work nearly as well as you'd hoped. If we look at some of the stats, Man City, most goals, 83 again. Fewest shots against, you got 338. But still, none of these, I mean, Man City in the goalkeeping department, not even most shutouts though. But everything else, most tackles, 1. Finally, you got 1. But really, I mean, the shots and the goals are the only ones that are really up there that are worth noting, 713. And if you look at the player overview, Haaland is not even in the list, or not even the top of the list. 19 goals in the Premier League, and that is it. Most assists, De Bruyne and Silva up there, though. Player of the Match awards, Haaland all the way down to 6, so average territory. Passing, I mean, again, you don't have a lot there. Bernardo Silva with most tackles, 1. Wow, he's actually doing some defensive work there. Most shots, there you go, 132 for Haaland up top. But overall, I mean, sadly, if I had tried this with transfers, they might have done better. But overall, I don't think it did nearly as well as I'd hoped it would. I really wanted to see them up top all the way, but that is what happens in these saves where you don't do anything and you sim for the entire season. You have pretty much your coaching staff and assistant coaches and all that do all the work for you. So you can definitely do a lot better when you take control of these tactics yourself, do your own shouts, do your own transfers, do your own training, things like that. But that is it for me, Sefian FM for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.